Good evening, chat. Welcome to a cooking stream. I figure it's the election season. We're going to have ourselves a good little night. I've got a little bit of a curry to make, and I thought, I could sit here and just do nothing and watch the election as I ate my meal, or I could cook the meal, make some content, and have a nice little Pauhana chat and stream with y'all. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. Should be a pretty good time. To go ahead and load up the chat on my phone, so that way, just in case random bullshit happens, we'll go with that. It looks like Red's live too. Well, all right. So we're gonna start. We're gonna make ourselves a nice little Thai curry today. First thing we got to do is make some rice. And before we go any further, I'm gonna go ahead and say this Thai curry is meant to sacrifice some flavor for better macros, and that means macronutrients, which also means for any of y'all who like Uncle Roger, you're not going to like this curry. It's tasty enough for my tastes. Modify it as you see fit with more conventional ingredients. Hey, Big Red, my main man from the state of Kentucky. How you doing? We go ahead and get started with the rice here. Back y'all up just a touch more. There we go. So, first things first. Curry goes with rice. Pretty self-explanatory. So we're going to just grab our sea rice out of here. See. I'm going to make a double-sized thing of curry, and I like having extra rice. So we're going to go 3 cups. A little bit less. That's about right. All right. Good. Audio sounds like it's coming through just fine. Excellent. Which means I can pop this sucker out and leave it over here for now. Because it's kind of weird hearing your own voice. Sounds like a giant echo. It makes it harder to think. Great news, 82 that would have given Kentucky General Assembly the power to take money from the budget for private schools has been shot down. Interesting. I probably would have voted yes on that. So that's all right. You can agree to disagree. So got just 3 cups of rice, nothing basic or thereabouts. It's a little bit less after settling. That's fine. We'll say 2 3/4. Yeah, drop one. And we're gonna wash the rice out. I mean, if y'all want to see me wash rice, I can orient the camera to do so. I don't really see a point in doing that, but just, massage the rice a little bit in a layer of water. Let the water get real nice and opaque. And then drain. And this is totally unnecessary, by the way. You don't have to wash rice if you like it real sticky and kind of glutinous. You can leave the rice unwashed, or you can wash it a few times. If you really want it to have a much more conventional restaurant style texture. Really up to you on that one. So we need a little bit more water than this. And then I like to salt my rice just a bit while it's in the cooker. That's totally a personal preference. There it is. But that's what I do. So just throw, not a lot, just a little sprinkle of salt. We throw that in there. Get yourself a rice cooker, by the way, y'all. So hang on, let me go ahead and we'll lower the cam just a bit. There we go. So first off, if y'all don't have a rice cooker, okay, I got this used from the Mapuna Puna Goodwill for $5. It's an authentic, actually made in Japan Zojirushi rice cooker. If I can find a used one at a fucking Goodwill where a large chunk of Oahu's homeless congregates, you can afford one too. So no real excuse. Get yourself a fucking rice cooker. If you don't have one, at least at bare minimum, get yourself a pressure cooker or an Instapot. It's an absolutely worthwhile expense, and you can buy one for peanuts. I am brand agnostic. My family's had a Tiger that we bought overseas in Japan since, God, I think 2001, and it still works. So this one, obviously, it's a bit dented, and it definitely looks like it comes from the 1980s, but it works. Who cares? Jamie M just popped in saying, eating your feelings is the answer to handling your election. No, that is not what I'm saying. In fact, that is very much the opposite of what I am saying. What I'm saying about the elections, let's see here, hang on one more time. Big Red says, on the other hand, 81 passed, so non-US citizens can't vote in elections, which is already a law in the books. Good, but why not make it a state law too? Um, yeah, the Zojirushis now all sing. This was manufactured well before then. I'll go ahead and, you know what? We're gonna play around with the cam a bit more. But this here, this bad boy is ancient if it wasn't obvious. But again, this is, you can tell this thing is reliable, even though it's been put through a fair amount of abuse because it was actually made in Japan. And look, Japanese quality, especially in the 80s and 90s, which is where I'm guessing this is from somewhere in that ballpark, you can tell it was made very well. So, not ancient vintage. So that's one way to say it. We're going to go ahead and we'll put y'all right here. And next up, we're going to chop our meat and chop our vegetables. Now, this is one where I very much do agree with Uncle Roger on. Good. This is speaking of Japanese steel. Yes, it's a basic ass KitchenAid, but it is at least Japanese steel. Nothing beats a rock solid meat cleaver. So we got some chicken breast, right? Just okay. That's not necessary, but it is fun. Fuck. Damn it. Wash those. So we'll chop up some chicken breast. Nothing crazy. Shaboom, 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 shaboom. Shaboom, 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 shaboom. And dice it a little bit. These are a bit too large for a curry. You don't need to really be uniform in your sizes. As long as it's relatively close, it's fine. It's going in a curry. It's not like you're, prepping this for aesthetic. So first thing we got here, you can't lick your floor. I mean, I cut my piece. I brought in a piece of broken glass. I actually cut up my foot with it yesterday, so I can't do that regardless. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I wonder if it is going to be a better angle if I just put y'all on the other side of the island. Do 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 do, and we just do. Ah, no. Sorry about that, y'all. You still alive? My bad, didn't mean to do that. I didn't succeed at what I'm doing. There we go. Yeah, this ain't bad. A little cooking setup. See how that looks. Yeah, all right, cool. So yeah, y'all can see everything, but you cannot see the counter. So we're gonna back it up a touch more and then lower it a touch more. And now y'all can see the counter. Cool. This is the first time doing a cooking stream with this tripod setup, so we're learning a bit. So, all right, we got our chicken. Shaboom. Into the cooking surface. Really, I know it's supposed to be a wok, but I don't have that. So I got fairly decent size vertical lit pan. Should get the trick done. Not going to turn on the stove yet because we still need to chop up all of our other ingredients. Onion, necessary for me, but that's just because I like onions. Are going to wash the knife. I really should wash the what's it called here, the cutting board too. So just do that real quick. Little soap, little suds, and we clean it off. So how do we handle the election? I'm a huge fan of the Stoic philosophy. The Stoic philosophy says not to worry about that which you cannot control. I live in the great state of Hawaii. Hawaii is a very blue state. In other words, My vote doesn't really matter for president. As a result of this, I will be turning the chat on. Dang it. Be turning the chat on my phone here. Here we go, all of the angles. No, so I left Texas in 2021. I haven't lived in Texas for 3 years now. I previously was living in South Carolina, which was equally politically uncompetitive, but on the other side of the coin, it was a red state. But I am registered. I am a resident of the Aloha State. So I live in Hawaii. I voted in Hawaii elections. Like feeling them waist tight. Cool, cool. So yeah, can you smell what the bowl is cooking? So we're gonna just I can never chop fast like the fucking sous chefs on TV or on the internet. I should stop trying because that's a good way to lose a digit. So just dice it up. I think half an onion should do. Probably don't need more. So we'll take the other and we'll throw it in a container, which we happen to have. Wonderful. It's just washed. In you go. And back into the fridge. You don't have to refrigerate an onion, but after you've chopped it up, I think it's wise to. Again, just my opinion. You don't have to do it. As for, God, I'm a sicko. I like raw onions. But as for the election, none of us can control the results. The only thing you can do is educate yourself on all the issues, and that includes all the down ballot shit, because that's where your vote really does matter. There's a lot less people voting. Vote, and I recommend voting early so as not to waste your time. And then that's really it. There really ain't that much else you need to do. Really, it's quite simple. We chop the onions down. That's pretty decent. Yeah, local engagement's a huge deal. State elections are a huge deal. Everybody likes to freak out about the president, but the president doesn't have that much power, especially if you force Congress to do their jobs, which they won't. But, all right, we're going to go ahead and turn on the burner. Yes, I have a gas stove. I can hear a coming in the general California region now. We're going to grab our curry powder. This is just basic my ploy. It's good stuff. I don't measure. I have a general idea of how much I need. A couple good spoonfuls. I like mine fairly flavorful. Use a little bit extra, you'll have more flavor. So we throw the curry powder in there. Cook the curry powder, the curry and the chicken together. And then we add, once that's starting to cook down, add a little bit of onion. We'll add our garlic. Let that cook together. Throw in a few spices. Throw in a little bit more water. That's supposed to go with curry powder. And then we'll throw in our other vegetables, cabbage, mushroom, carrots, really whatever else we fancy. Vegetables are good for you, and you can pick whatever vegetables you want to throw into whatever curry. Fight me! So throw our onions in. I don't mind if the onions cook a little bit extra. It makes them real nice, caramelized, all that good shit. So throw that in. Are you a spicy person? Oh yeah, I love spicy food. Absolutely. I am a huge fan. We need our wooden spoon. Perfect. So go ahead and bash the curry powder up, the curry paste up into little chunks instead of one giant chunk in the center. And then just kind of stir it all together with the chicken and onions. Let that cook down. There's a little bit of fat on the sides of the chicken. That should provide enough lubrication for this to cook properly. There's also a little bit of fat inside the curry powder. I'm trying to minimize the amount of fat to use here, and there is a reason for that. What we're trying to do here is improve the macros on a current curry dish. Curries are wonderful, but a lot of them use full-fat coconut milk. Full-fat coconut milk tastes fucking incredible, and it is pure fat. It is a great way to damage the macros on any dish. Light coconut milk is better, but light coconut milk doesn't have a lot of flavor. I also forgot to buy some, so we're going to use non-fat dry milk. I can hear the squealing in the comments already, and a little bit of coconut powder that I actually have up in my spice cabinet. It's also a yellow curry, not a masaman, so I don't think it needs as much. Anyway, I like mushrooms in it, but yeah, no, you gotta have spice. You gotta have spice is the you gotta have. It's what is it? The variety is the spice of life. When given how many great different spices there are in the world, spice could be the variety of life. You could apply the phrase backwards. I never know how to undo one of these. This is just Chinese cabbage I got from my local Asian market. I love Chinese cabbage. Can put it in any dish, Asian or Western, and I can make a salad out of it. I really like the way it tastes. I think it's better than conventional, um, green cabbage. So I recommend it. And I just absolutely butchered that, but whatever. We're gonna use this whole end of it anyway. So I'll just that ought to do. That's a fair chunk of cabbage. Should be enough. Then we just take the leftover plastic wrap, put it over the top, and back in the fridge you go. All right. I like throwing this in a stir fry with fried rice, some Portuguese sausage, some Spam. That's pretty good. You can throw it in a Simon dish. Love me some Simon. That's good stuff. But eat the plastic part? No, God no, dude. I get plenty of microplastics everywhere else in my life. I don't need to be deliberately going out of my way to eat more. But as far as the election is concerned, so getting back to that, you got to remember this is the United States and its economy and its politics is a cruise liner. It is not a PT boat. No president, no matter how radical, is going to steer the ship more than glacially, right? You're not going to turn the Titanic on a dime, so to speak. I'm not one of these doomers that thinks the world is going to end if Trump gets elected. I'm not one of these doomers that thinks the world is going to end if Kamala gets elected. I think both are below average options, and I'm very interested to see how things go there. Rip Titanic. You had to wait in line for an hour to vote, and I live in a small town. God, I will say I adore that about my current home state. Here in Hawaii, we have mail-in voting. There are boxes all around the island. There is also early voting. So if you waited to vote until today, and they made ads for it, it's like the ads are literally like, if you like waiting in line, by all means, wait until election day to vote. Here, one other fan-fucking-tastic thing about this state. This is the first state I have lived in where the election day is a state holiday. So it really does, and I think it does. Okay, it's not ready yet. It does go to show partially why I would like to think voter turnout here is a little bit higher. I'm a huge fan of making election day a holiday. I think you should make it as easy as possible to vote as long as you're a U.S. citizen. So as far as I'm concerned, I believe in voter ID, but I also believe in making election day a national holiday. So there you go. You're British at heart. I love a cute. That's strange. Sorry, man. He said eating raw cabbage. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Bring the temp up a little bit on this. While we're waiting on that, look at our seasonings out. We want black pepper. We want red pepper. We want cumin. We want, oh my God, how did I forget about garlic? A friend of mine left me this giant bag of Costco pre-peeled garlic, and I do not like it as much as the regular stuff, but I'd rather use it than have it go to waste, so that's what we're going to do with it. Yeah, I should have chopped this up before the cabbage. That was an error on my part. I'll make it work. Damn it. I keep fumbling everything today. There we go, starting to sizzle. Hear it very slightly in the background. There we go. Just move the cabbage over so we can chop the garlic. Loads and loads of garlic should go into any curry. Loads and loads. Again, garlic's one of those things for me. It's like onions or Chinese cabbage. You can throw it into fucking anything. It's good for you and it tastes great. Only thing with garlic is that you will smell like it. I live alone and don't really care about other people's opinions of me anyway, so So we keep chopping. We do a little chopping. Just dice it down. Doesn't need to be any super, as long as, there aren't giant half chunks of garlic. As long as it's somewhat decently chopped, it'll cook down pretty well. This is the other great thing about a cleaver. Use the side of it. Just load up the side of the cleaver. Into the pan you go. Just like that. No mess, no fuss. No trying to scoop it up. Boop. Easy. Oh yeah. It's important to not give a fuck about what others think of you. Unless that person genuinely has proven that they have a part of your self-interest in mind, you don't owe them shit. A little bit of that in there. Yeah, that's anise. Black pepper. Oh, fuck. Before I forgot. Shrimp paste. Gotta have a little shrimp paste in there. That one's a must. Mm. Shrimp paste is so damn good. Super heavy umami flavor. It goes good in, again, just about any Asian dish. Kind of mix it in. Turn up the heat a bit more. Yeah, it's starting to cook up. It's going to take a little bit more time. Give that another minute or so. Mercer County will get medicinal wheat. Oh, nice. Very good for you. Don't have a Menti bee in the kitchen with the knives. Oh, for sure. It's on that. You really do be freeballing this recipe. I mean, no comment. I I don't think I can actually respond to that without violating the terms of being on YouTube. No, little sesame seeds, black pepper. No, 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 not cayenne. Where is it? I like a little bit of turmeric in mine. Not really because turmeric belongs in this recipe, and I don't use a ton, but because turmeric's really, really good for you. Let's see. Yeah, so as far as the election's concerned, I don't th the important thing to remember is that nothing's going to change overnight. It's not the end of the world. Life will move on, and we're all going to be okay. I don't mean to trivialize. A lot of people are really concerned, but we've been through much worse in this country, regardless of who gets elected. We've been through much better in this country, regardless of who gets elected, and it's going to be okay. Neither candidate is as bad as James Buchanan, the worst president in U.S. history. Fucking fight me on that. Throw in the peppercorns. All right, now we're gonna make the sauce, which requires a little bit of dry milk, substitute for coconut milk. Why would I do this? Is dry milk as good as coconut milk? No. Does it contain hella protein? You bet your ass it does. So throw that in there. And now all we need is a little water. So take any old container, mix in properly. That'll about do. And just stir it all in. And turn down to a simmer. Yep. Just let her stir on in. Ah, it's looking good. Starting to get that nice golden yellow color as a yellow curry should. That looks about right. And I'll tally up the macros at the end of this, by the way. Got to do the stirring correctly, though. Get that all in there. Nice. We're going to throw the cabbage in next. Easy does it. I got like 90% of it in there. There we go. Just grab all the other pieces that fell to the side. No biggie. Nice and easy. Try not to burn your own fingers. Try not to be a dumbass. That's a hard task. I tend to fail the try not to be a dumbass test. So we start in, and y'all get the final shot. Don't worry. It's coming together. Use, I think, a touch more water. Yeah, just a little bit more. That ought to do. Doesn't need a lot, but it does need to. It was still, a good curry should have a fair amount of curry sauce, effectively, right? It's curry paste mixed with water for the most part, or curry powder mixed with water. That's not quite that was not quite saucy enough. Now it's looking quite a bit better. So put that at low to medium heat for a simmer. See how good the chicken's doing. Oh no, that still needs a little bit more time. Perfect. So where do we go from here? Spices and seasonings. All right. Don't you slander my boy Buchanan. Someone retracted there. Yeah. Let's see. So proving it might, your words mean nothing to those terms and conditions, I fear. I mean, that's true. YouTube is capricious, and if they want to boot me off the platform, they'll boot me off the platform, but I'd rather not give them a pretense. Not quite this early into my time on YouTube. I've only moved from Twitch, a little while ago. Turmeric. It's good. And then black pepper. A little bit of the most important ingredient, MSG. Not too much, but nice little sprinkle gives it that real nice umami flavor. MSG is not going to kill you. A little bit of sesame seeds, not because it's conventional to this recipe, but because I like them. I've also got some frozen veg in there in terms of broccoli and such. I think I'm not going to need it. Throw in the mushrooms. There we go. Let that cook down in there. I don't got fresh, I got canned. Fresh produce is notoriously expensive, and not only is it notoriously expensive here, it goes rotten really quickly because this is Hawaii, everything has to be imported. Oh yeah. Okay. I threw in just enough turmeric to really give it a nice golden color. Whenever in a minute or two, once I've thrown all the rest of the seasonings in, I'll show you guys. Next up in there, I like having a little sweetness, so we throw in some carrots. Is this a conventional recipe? Fuck no, it's not. Do I care? No, not my problem. Again, if Uncle Roger or any other food critic was watching this video, they'd be probably hooting and hollering and screaming and everything, but that's not really my problem now, is it? It's theirs. If I like it, I'm the only one who's gonna eat it, so doesn't really matter. Anywho, let's see here. If Donald Trump wins, he has to get support from Congress. If the chambers is split, there you be. Yeah, that's the other thing. Congressional gridlock's going to kind of occur no matter which candidate happens. Congress has gone out of its way to make as many districts as uncompetitive as possible, which is a bad thing for our country. But it does limit the damage a bad president can do. Although, thankfully, that can also be applied to Kamala. So we're going to chop some carrots. And again, the carrots, especially as they cook down, they'll need some time to simmer. A good curry, I like to let a good curry simmer for a good long while. As the carrot simmers down, it releases a lot more of the sweetness, which is good. That's what you want. Carrots are also incredibly good for your skin, which out here is necessary because of the sun's very harsh rays. At least for me, because I'm fucking Hallie. Hmm. I just realized y'all probably hearing me crunching on that carrot. Oh, not wanting YouTube to hate you. I don't care that much. You know, I support free speech on this channel. You can say pretty much whatever you want. The one rule is, right, don't get me kicked off of the platform. It would just be annoying because then I'd have to start over with some other platform or go back to Twitch, which has even more restrictive rules. So it's like, try not to be an asshole. I don't know. I'm pretty lenient on what you can say in here. Right now, by the way, if y'all want my prediction, I believe Donald Trump is going to win tonight because, in particular, I think Pennsylvania is the state that will decide it, and I believe Donald Trump will win Pennsylvania. My reasoning for this is that Joe Biden beat Donald Trump in Pennsylvania by an extraordinarily small margin, about the same that Trump beat Hillary Clinton on in 2016 in Pennsylvania. The difference, though, is that Joe Biden got a lot more votes from Scranton Wilkes-Barre than Kamala Harris will because Joe Biden was from there. I believe as a result of that, Scranton Wilkes-Barre is going to be a lot redder, and that will be enough to tilt Pennsylvania in Trump's favor. And that will be enough to tilt the election in Trump's favor. If you're wondering what my prediction was, there you have it. Thus spoke the ball. So I think we will have 4 more years of Trump. Um, I have mixed feelings on that. There are some things I like that Donald Trump did, some things I did not like that Donald Trump did, but we'll see. Fair enough. No worries. Trump will catch the snitch, but Kamala will win the game. I'm not so sure. I think Kamala will win the popular vote, but the popular vote doesn't matter and never has. So I do think it's going to matter which states. I think Kamala will carry Nevada. I think Trump will get Arizona. I think Kamala will get Wisconsin and Minnesota. I believe Ohio has already been called for Trump, as has Florida. I think Trump gets Pennsylvania. I think Kamala gets Virginia. And I think NC and Georgia are a split. I think one goes for Trump, one goes for Kamala. I couldn't tell you which. But I think it's the Keystone State that decides it this year. Who has read popular votes? Just had to think about that irrelevant thing. I mean, look, you can say it should be based on the popular vote, and that's well and good. But everybody knows the rules coming into the election. You can't complain about the rules like the day of the election. That's not how this works. If you want to change it, it's going to require a constitutional amendment. Good luck with that. And this is a democratic republic. That's the reason we started this whole thing. So that way the big states couldn't bully the small states. And you can again argue the same thing with congressional representation, that especially in the Senate, the state of Wyoming holds undue power because it is represented the same amount as a state like California or Texas. You can make a compelling argument for that. The only way to fix that is through a constitutional amendment, and good luck with that. It may happen someday, but I doubt it. I doubt it. We've complained, but yeah, exactly. And complaining without having any functional pathway to change is futility. Again, it's effort wasted. That's the whole concept behind Stoicism, right? A little way of the bull moment for you here. Don't focus that much on that which you can't control. A little bit of, just a touch of that should, a little bit between that, the carrots should have a little bit more sweetness. There we go, let that cook down. I have a stir fry medley in my freezer, and I think I'm going to refrain from adding it. This is already looking pretty tasty. The carrots need to cook down, and they will, but I'm also a man of very low standards, so I'll eat anything. Mm. Mm. Realize immediately what it was missing. Pepper, red pepper, and a lot of it. Get that nice and hot. That's what I'm talking about. I threw in all that. Yeah, I think that's enough. All right, let me stir the red pepper in. That may not be enough red pepper. Nah. See, what I really love are some fresh Thai chilies. I can dream on about that here. That's hard to find in Honolulu. Hmm. All right. Wait, I forgot to turn the rice cooker on. Shit. Well, I guess we'll be waiting on that for a little longer, which I'm okay with because it needs to simmer anyway. I'll make sure there's nothing I forgot. Don't need any of that. Don't need any of that. No, no, no. Ready through the mushrooms. Are there any other vegetables I wanted to throw in? Oh, this stuff. Okay. This big bag here on my right is something called I'll eat most things. There is a chance that Don will not see his term, holy hell, his diet, take a toll on his health. Oh, yeah, I've said that. I've maintained that for years. I said Donald Trump will win this election. I didn't say he'd finish his term. Donald Trump will be dead before 2029. Mark my words. That has nothing to do with anyone trying to assassinate him again, although clearly there are enough lunatics out there. It is because Trump's diet is KFC and Diet Coke, and at the age of 77, remember, if you were one of these people saying Biden was too old in 2020, Trump is now that same age in 2024, so apply the standard evenly. But I agree. I don't think, right, so Trump is not only is he 77 years old, he's 77 years old, he's overweight, and he doesn't eat much in the way of vegetables, and he has 4 years of the world's most strenuous job already on his body. They say the presidency one term ages you 10 years. So putting that factor into effect, you're talking about a 77-year-old man with the mileage of an 83-year-old man. That would mean, in effect, 87 by the end of it, a second term. Or if you want to add that mileage of 10 again, 93. Do you think a 93-year-old is going to make his way through the presidency? I doubt it. I'm sorry, I don't. He also is mentally slipping a bit. So this stuff, actually, is what I want to talk about before we go a little further in there. This is called texturized vegetable protein, or TVP. Basically, it's defatted soy protein. Why would I add this? Well, the answer is because it is cheap protein. I've already got animal protein in here, and a little plant protein ain't too bad. Don't need a lot. 8 ounces should do. That's going to be, yeah, so per quarter cup, it's 80 calories and 12 grams of protein. So throwing in 1 cup of this is equivalent to 320 grams and 48 grams of protein. So it's going to just absolutely jack up the protein content, which is what we want. Perfect. Oh, this is bubbling, so we can simmer it down. It will also thicken the sauce dramatically. May thicken it a touch too much. I may need to add a little bit more milk, which I'm okay with. And so what does TVP taste like? It tastes like nothing. It's got a very, very mild, nutty, kind of toasted soybean flavor. But it works really well in stews, sauces, curries. Oh yeah, and it soaks, much like tofu, it kind of soaks up the flavor of whatever else goes in it. Unlike a tofu, though, it's not perishable, which out here in Hawaii makes it a very valuable commodity. Yes, this is going to need a little bit more milk. I'm cool with. We'll just do a half scoop. That'll do. And in you go. And yes, I use dry milk. Why do I do that? It's $8 a gallon here. You have to find ways to be frugal in this state. If you want to live in paradise, you have to pay the paradise tax. That involves finding ways to lower your food budget, finding ways to lower your housing budget, finding ways to lower your transit budget. All of them are possible. They require sacrifice. I grew up in a military family. What does that mean? Well, we got stationed in Okinawa when I was a kid. What does that mean? Okinawa has even less access to fresh milk than Hawaii does. So guess what I did? Yep, that's right. I lived on dried milk as a kid. You know what? It's just fine. Put it in a pitcher, make sure the ratios are correct, shake it up, make sure it's mixed in well, let it chill, and it tastes just like the real thing. Nothing wrong with it. Ain't. It's just dried milk powder. It's literally just milk that's been dehydrated. You can rehydrate it, and I can get that for an effective cost of roughly $4 a gallon, which is half the price of milk around here. Even at Costco, when it runs on sale, it's only 6. Mm. That is going to taste great. Doesn't look as fancy as a proper yellow curry, but the macro content will be spectacular. Just get a sugar daddy, simple. I'm open to the game. So if anybody really wants to do that, come talk to me. Fuck, I got a Discord. Talk to me on there. Let's see. Don't eat anything. I'll eat anything. I mean, I love celery sticks. Or what? If Donald Trump secretly eats celery sticks all day? I would doubt it. And either way, he's still fat. So you could say, what if he eats celery sticks? It doesn't change the fact that he's overweight. And objectively speaking, I mean that Donald Trump is overweight. He is. Much the same way that when he was elected, Bill Clinton was overweight. Bill Clinton converted to veganism, which I think is an L move on his part, but he's in much better shape. And I think Bill Clinton looks a lot healthier, even though he went through 8 years of the presidency and is the same age as Donald Trump. By the way, Donald Trump, George Bush, and Bill Clinton were all born in the same year, 1946. But I think Clinton looks, I don't know what George W. Bush is looking like these days, but Clinton looks a lot better than Trump. This Clinton's taking better care of his body. It's real simple. I think veganism is a bit of an L move, but a vegan diet is still healthier than whatever the fuck Trump eats on a regular basis. I would be honestly, that is one of, but that is one of the biggest reasons I didn't vote for Trump actually, because I don't think he will make it through his term, and I think he is going to die in office. I really, really don't like JD Vance. JD Vance's economic policies in particular are uber protectionist, and all that's going to do is raise costs to the US consumer. Isolationism and protectionism economically are idiotic. I can make a better argument for foreign policy isolationism. Okay, so that's about done. Let me clean up real quick. And we'll sit down, we'll chill, we'll let that cook, and we'll carry on from there. Nice. Surprise, surprise, Ted Cruz once again. What did I say? Big Red. Have I not been saying for the last, God, how many months now? Every year the media does this. They hype up some blue guy that gets a shit ton of money from the Democratic Party nationally to go in Texas and de-seat someone in Texas. And then inevitably that person falls flat on their face because Texas has the lowest voter participation rate in the country. So what happens is the media says that, and all of a sudden every part of conservative Texas says, oh, okay, I guess we actually need to vote now. And then they vote, and then Texas goes red. Not fucking rocket science. I really, that one, anyone who thought Colin Allred was going to win gets what they deserve. Dumb. Just at this point, stupid. Speaking of idiots, I'm so glad at least it wasn't Beto this time. Beto O'Rourke is one of the most politically inept people I have ever seen. How on earth do you live in a state like Texas and ever think running on gun control is a good idea? I'm not even talking about ethics or morals here. I'm just talking about what do you think will win? How on earth did you think you were going to win on gun control in Texas? I mean, outlawing guns in Texas, it would be like it'd be like surfing control here. It's like something so integral to the state's culture. You're never going to get gun control in Texas. You're never going to get it in the United States, especially as 3D printing comes more and more to the fore, but you're certainly never going to get it in Texas. All right, so that's simmering. We're going to give you guys a show. Can't have everything. It's there we go. Quick question. Did you only vote once, or did each ab get a vote? I wish, bro. That would be an OP. I would be in favor of that, bro. Freaking voter, you get to the amount of votes you get is based on like a BSD minus a ratio of body fat or something like that. The liftocracy. There we go, and that is still simmering on the lowest temp. So just turn it off, let it cook down. All that's got to do is simmer. Is it looking a lot chunkier than a standard yellow curry? Yes, and that's because the TVP is just soaking up the moisture, which is okay. As the carrots continue to cook down, they'll release some more moisture. Should be just fine. I'm going to eat the hell out of that. It's going to taste great. As far as I'm concerned, I'm actually going to snag a piece of chicken. Mm. There we go. I thought I was showing it. Maybe I wasn't. It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, we're going to sit here and we're going to tally up the macros. So, give you guys a better view of the lighting, though. And by the lighting, I mean my abs. Look, I know why most of you are here. I'm not stupid. Yeah, baby. But, so now it's time to sit here and do the math on what all we just threw together. So, we got curry pot 11.5. Now we got to do math. Oh my God, it's math. All right. So, yeah, for literally, I'm just winging it. That's the fun part. We threw in 2 chicken breasts and they were small. I would say that's about mm, probably around a pound of chicken, give or take. And each chicken breast for our little freezer bag in here for 4 ounces is 100 calories and 20 grams of protein. So that's 1 pound of chicken, 400 calories. All right. Now we threw in 1.5 scoops of milk. Each scoop is equivalent to 12 ounces of this stuff. So that's going to be 12. 6 over is 18 ounces of milk. That's 180 calories. I've done this enough times to where I know that number. Just trust me on that. Next, curry powder. We used, so it's 1,500 servings for it's 100 servings per container and 15 calories per serving. We probably used about 1/10 of this, so I'm guessing, maybe a little more, about 1/8 of this. So we'll say 200 calories. So it's going to be 400 plus 180 plus 200. Throw that back in. We used half an onion. Onions are roughly about 60 calories a pop, so that's 30. Done. All right. Carrots. We threw in 4 carrots. Each carrot's about 30, so that's 120. Done. Cabbage. We threw in about probably a good half a pound of cabbage. Good amount. I do like the Chinese cabbage, but it's pretty low in terms of calories. So that's, I think 50 would be more than enough to cover that. And then the mushrooms, a can of that's 30. What else do we throw in there? The TVP. We threw in 1 cup, so that's 320 calories. And then what else did we throw in here? Garlic, so that's probably, let's say another 20 calories. Garlic doesn't have much. And that about does it for the pot. So that is 1,350 calories for the pot, which sounds high, but it isn't. Now we calculate the protein. All right, so the chicken, we just said 20 per serving, 4 servings, so that's 80 grams of protein from the chicken, 18 from the milk, right? Again, you can just trust me on that one. Uh, Carrots, 4 carrots is probably 1 gram of protein. The cabbage will probably be about 2. Same with the onion, probably about 1. Mushrooms is 3. And then the TVP, that's going to be 12 times 4 is 48. And then probably 1 for everything else. Um, that is going to be, garlic, curry powder. So that's 154 grams of protein. So let's take a look at that. So just for the pot of curry, we're ignoring the rice because rice is not of very good nutritional value, but rice is fucking delicious, so we're gonna have it anyway. Instead of having, if you had added a can of coconut milk to this, yes, it would taste creamier and be tastier. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit you and say it would be, it's better without coconut milk. But because we've constructed the curry this way, extra can of coconut milk, you're now probably looking at the same amount of protein, but 2,000 calories or even more, depending on how much coconut milk you use or coconut cream you use. So all of a sudden, and then if you would cook the chicken in oil, or butter, which a lot of people recommend to do, that's additional calories. That's all fat. So instead of doing that, this is much more lean down. 154 grams of protein for 1350 calories is pretty good. We threw in 2 3/4 cups of rice, so the rice is going to be 160 per quarter cup. So that's 160 times 4 times, so 640 per cup times 2 plus 163 times over. So it's going to be 1,760 calories. In other words, the rice we're cooking has more calories than all that curry. One is a lot more filling than the other. One is plain carbs. But rice is cheap and it tastes good. And then 3 grams per serving on that. So that's 33 grams of protein. In other words, this whole meal, if we ate everything, and believe me, I could, is going to be 3,210 calories, I believe. Yes, no, 3,110 calories, excuse me, and 187 grams of protein. Pretty good. I would say, right? Obviously, I'm going to try and use less rice and not eat all the rice in one sitting. That is a challenge. It's hard to keep the eye focused on your face with those shorts. These are just regular fucking shorts, man. Y'all, whatever. I don't care. How many calories for the blood, sweat, and tears? No blood from this meal, although I did step on a piece of broken glass yesterday, which fucking hurt. Sweat, it is like 81 degrees in here because I'm not running the AC, and I should fix that. Actually, it's fairly cool outside. The trouble isn't cooking. That's really causing all the heat over here. How tall are you? I am 6'3". Good question. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, catch up on chat. Yeah, we're just chatting, cooking the election. So hopefully, if you're on a cut cycle and you're looking for a way to do this, you could do this with less rice. To really maximize the macros, you could do, take this, put it over something healthier in terms of grain, put it over edamame. I'm not that extreme. I fucking like rice. You can mix TVP into the rice. Sometimes I do that. Today I felt like mixing it into the curry to make the curry more substantive. Also because I like the way the TVP takes on the flavor. TVP mixed with rice, you're adding flavor of rice, which is already pretty mild to TVP. That's not really going to do much. So the head keeps, yeah, Matthew, shut the fuck up, man. Bro, what do you want me to do about that? I don't care. Um, with standing and sweating reduces it a few for sure. Um, No, that's not what we're doing here, right? We're cooking, we're chilling, we're hanging out. It is again, it's warm as fuck in my apartment. So why am I shirtless? Because it's warm in here and I don't feel like turning on the AC. It's fucking 45 cents a kilowatt for electricity in this place, in this state. It is the most expensive electricity in the country. So again, this is talking about, right, how do you live in paradise? How do I live in paradise for under $40,000 a year? Well, here you go. I can save on my electric bill by not running the AC until I'm going to sleep at night. Okay, so it's 82, 83 in my apartment. I just walk around shirtless, no problems, right? Hell, I used to live in the deep south. It was a whole lot hotter back there, so what's 82, you know? Ain't no big deal. So that's good. That's chilling. Rice is simmering. Oh, so cheap. I mean, you can call me cheap, but you can also say, I'm able to retire. I'm 29 years old. How good is that? Now, a lot of people just call me a cheapskate without realizing that's why I'm in the position I'm in. As near as makes no difference, in the coming year to 3 years, depending on where the stock market goes, I'll be a millionaire. I'm gonna be in my low 30s at that point. So it's the question really gets to, well, I could say all the money's, yeah, it's, oh, the electricity's being not, yeah, dude, electricity costs. This state is, I love living here. This state is run poorly. I do not like the state government, and I do not like the way um, things are done in a lot of ways. This is one where we could have just plopped one of the old reactors from a nuclear aircraft carrier or a nuclear submarine over at the Waiau plant and generated far more electricity than we needed for a fraction of the cost. 75% of the electricity used in this state comes from imported oil. There is a difference between being frugal and cheap, by the way. So cheap would be sacrificing your sleep by not running the air conditioner at night. Frugal would be turning it off during the day and only using it at night when you need it, right? And running fans for the rest of the day. If I'm awake and I'm just chilling, 82 is fine. I'm going to sleep, I'd like it a little colder, 76, 77. It's fine. Was going to ask if you use fans at night. Absolutely. No, a box fan, I have one sitting right there. I'm just keeping it off for the show because, well, I would rather not. I'd rather not make a bunch of extra noise that we didn't need. So actually, we're going to put you all back in the normal spot. I get cold with a blanket because I'm a proper baby. I do love sleeping in a cold place, but the amount of money it would take to simulate that in a not very cold place is prohibitively expensive. It's a waste of money. It's wasteful, and it's bad for the environment too. Not that that should be your top priority, but yeah, you should give a damn about how much carbon you're using, about how much, especially out here, all electricity is coming from imported petroleum. Speaking of, I can go ahead and turn off the stove light because I no longer need it. Just sit back. Steal another piece of chicken because it fucking tastes good. Hmm. And I'm going to pull up on my computer behind y'all the current election map. Close the cabinets to save some too. Yeah, I'm lazy about that. I need to close the cabinets. I'll uh I'll go ahead and do that next time I get up. Hang on. There we go. So we're gonna pull up the New York Times election map. And no, I don't normally use the New York Times. It seems like they've been the most out front so far. All right. Here's what we got so far, what's been called. In favor of Vice President Harris, we have Vermont has been called, Massachusetts has been called, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland have been called, Illinois has been called, and Colorado has been called. In favor of President Trump, we have, has been called so far, Montana, both Dakotas, Wyoming, Utah, Nebraska, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. Texas is going to go blue. Nope, it's already been called for Trump. Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina. No big shock there. Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, and of course, West Virginia. Boston losing 4-0 to the Leafs. The water chug ASMR gets me every time. Yeah, so this is. Did any of y'all else grow up with just the Coleman thermos? These things keep water cold for fucking ever, and I like the volume at which it comes out. It's not going to overwhelm you, but it's also not a trickle. Uh, and yeah, That that sound is kind of nostalgic, you know. Did any of y'all play like a team sport or something like that growing up? And this was like for football practice. This is what you bring. You bring this full of fucking ice, right? Especially if you lived in Texas, which the time I did, and you know that would slowly melt over the course of the practice of the day. And yeah, some people had igloos. This is a Coleman, but you get the idea. So let's see what else we've got here. Nothing on the West Coast is reporting in yet. Obviously, here the polls still aren't even closed. We've got closest one to being fully in is Georgia. And it's looking like Trump will carry Georgia at the moment. Although I'm guessing a lot of the remaining vote is going to be Metro Atlanta. So that could play a part. It would have to be a pretty big come from behind. It looks like Kamala is behind by about 150,000 votes. So we'll see. I don't know if we zoom in on Georgia. Let's see what Fulton County has done. Now, Fulton County's reported 91% of votes. So that's looking, I think Trump's going to get Georgia then, is what that looks like. So my old county went for Trump by a margin of 63 to 36%. Let's take a look at Virginia. North Carolina is looking like it's going to go for Trump as well. And at the moment, Pennsylvania, not enough votes it's about a toss-up. I think it's going to be Pennsylvania. Let's see. We got Minnesota's looking for Kamala. Wisconsin's too close to tell. Michigan is, oh my, yeah, Michigan's looking about even right now as well. Um, we've got Iowa's looking like it's going to go for Trump. Kansas, pretty predictable there. New Mexico's looking like it's going to go for Harris, and Arizona's too close to call. Oh, we got New Hampshire's looking Harris, and then Maine's also looking Harris. Although they got the districts, I think one will go for Trump, one will go for Harris. I think Nebraska was the same way. That was pretty. Oh, Nebraska 3 is reported, and the others haven't. So okay, okay. So we've got. Speaking of other things I need to do tonight, I need to pick up a. I need to buy my tickets to the New York Fashion Show. That's going to be February of 2025. Should be a lot of fun. Who else we got in chat live? We've got. Hey, Nate Hawkins says Ohio is going red. It sure looks like it. We've just talked about it. It's looking. What I've said. I've been maintaining for the longest time is that the Keystone State will decide this election. I think whoever wins Pennsylvania will win it all. Uh, the question remains is who that will be. Right now, it's looking like Wisconsin may end up going red. If Wisconsin and Michigan both go red, Pennsylvania won't matter. But I think they're both going to go blue. That's just my guess. I think Pennsylvania is going to be the one. Uh, Obviously, here the polls haven't even closed. They won't close for another 90 minutes. That's 7 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. So, not that it really is all that unpredictable result. This state will be one of, if not the bluest in the country because 1954 happened, and as a result of that, the state has been blue ever since. If you're ever curious as to wondering why Hawaii is such a Democratic stronghold, I can actually shed some light on that. It's a pretty interesting story. It goes back to the days when this was a territory and not a state. 5 years actually before that, because this became our 50th state in 1959. Wild too that in those days it was a lot of the deep South states trying to block Hawaii from becoming a state because it was not majority white. And I'm not making that up. That was, I mean, it was the 50s. That's some people just thought that way. So yeah, it looks like Ohio is going for old Donald Bigley. I guess I'm not really all that surprised by that. Let's take a look at the Ohio map. Let's see here. Predictably, you've got real big blue dots. We've got Franklin County, of course, Cuyahoga County, of course, Hamilton County, of course, Athens, barely. Okay, that's interesting. Trump might just win Dayton. Montgomery County. If Trump were to win Montgomery County, that would be an upset. Dayton is an old Rust Belt town that has, frankly, not seen very good days for a while, but it's come back a little bit. I'm surprised. Dayton is usually not as blue as Cleveland or as blue as Cincinnati, but it's usually blue. So that's interesting. That's very telling. Let's take a look at Pennsylvania real quick, because again, my thesis here is that Trump will win the election because he'll win Pennsylvania, and he'll win Pennsylvania because he'll win Scranton Wilkes-Barre. The reason being that Joe Biden was from there and therefore got more votes, whereas Kamala is not and will not. So let's take a look at, I believe it's Lackawanna County that is Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Oh, it's close. Or is it Luzerne County? I need to, which, let me search that real quick. Scranton Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Scranton Wilkes-Barre is in, let's see. Yep, county seat of Luzerne County, Pennsylvania. So Trump is winning Luzerne County 56 to 43%. It's a 13,000 vote margin. He's got that on lock. And then Lackawanna County is currently, Harris is in the lead by about 3,500 votes, which is Lackawanna County. I believe that's going to be, I think Wilkes-Barre is Luzerne, and then Lackawanna County is Scranton. Is that right? Yep, that's right. So interesting. I figured Trump would win Lackawanna County as well. It's a lot closer than it was in 2020, I believe. We go shift from 2020. Lackawanna County, yeah, 5% more Republican than 2020, which doesn't surprise me. Again, Joe Biden was from there. Usually the hometown of the candidate is going to go in the direction of that candidate. Not always, but in a place like Pennsylvania, that really does matter. You can get to that level. I mean, that is why Biden won Pennsylvania in 2020. It's because he had that. So right now, it's looking like Trump's going to win it. So let's see. Let's look at some shifts here. Interesting. Oklahoma shifting left, only very slightly. Oklahoma's still deep red, but parts of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia, the upstate, looks like that belt between Greenville, Spartanburg, Charlotte, and Atlanta going a bit more blue, and then it's just a sea of more red than 2020. Kentucky, pretty much, wow, the entire state of Kentucky went and shifted more in favor of Trump this time. Same for West Virginia, Tennessee, Louisiana, Texas. Parts of Texas shifted more in favor of Kamala. I I'm very this is fascinating. I will say credit to the New York Times. They have a really interesting tool here. This is a lot of fun. If you're a data nerd, I mean, you just got to be enjoying the fuck out of this. Let's go over to my previous county since Hawaii obviously isn't going to have anything reported yet. Um, let's go to my current county, or my old county of Aiken County, South Carolina, and see exactly how the votes split. So Trump seems to have won it pretty handily with 72% of the votes in. You've got Trump at 38 and change, and Kamala just a hair under 22. So that's 63 to 36%. And it appears Edgefield County, Barnwell County. So yeah, Barnwell County flipped. Trump took Barnwell County. It was Biden last time, which makes sense. In fact, there's this whole Black Belt region of South Carolina seems to have made major shifts towards Trump. And the reason for this is also because Joe Biden and James Clyburn are very good friends. They've been working together in Congress for about 50 years. As a result of this, Clyburn was hell. People forget Clyburn was the one that saved Biden's campaign in 2020. For a while, it was looking like it was going to be Bernie Sanders or perhaps Pete Buttigieg, but Biden came through and clobbered the 2020 election, or the 2020 primaries in South Carolina, I should say. So let's see what we got for Richmond County, Georgia shifted right. Yeah, Trump's going to take this. I think Trump's got it. Let's see, margin by county. That's kind of funny. Aiken County, yeah, so it's not saying it. It looks like Aiken did not shift very much at all. It doesn't have any. It's weird. All the shifts are for the counties around, but I guess it didn't shift very much. So it's going to be about the same. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So let's do my other old county, Hunt County, Texas. You want to see that I've lived in red state America for a long fucking time. You instantly notice it on the map. Hunt County, Texas, 77% in favor of Trump. Yep. I told you I have lived in the red states for a really long time. It is very much a cultural shift moving to a blue state. So interesting. And it looks like the chat just not I'm gonna restart my broadcast here just to check, make sure I'm not missing any live chats. By the way, super chats are enabled, so if you guys want that. Okay, here we go. Tuscarawas County. Okay, this is me. All right, we'll check Tuscarawas after this. So Hunt County, Texas. We're going to that. We zoom in here. I used to live in Hunt County in, oh, that's New Mexico. We zoom into the Great Lone Star State. Hunt County, Texas is where my old stomping grounds are from. 77% in favor of the Donald, and that tracks. It was about 74, 75% in 2020 when I was there. And then we've got my good friends from Van Zant County, 87% in favor of Trump. This is what I'm talking about. You get into rural Texas and you remember, oh shit, there are millions of people who live here and they are almost all conservative. Fort Worth, Tarrant County's going red. God bless Fort Worth. It's one of the few urban areas in this country that's politically competitive. I do like that. Let's see how my old stomping grounds at A&M is going. 62 to 37 in favor of the Big D. It's 55,000 to 32,000, which makes sense. Again, most A&M students, A&M being a more conservative college, it makes sense. But a lot of A&M students aren't necessarily going to vote as Brazos County residents because their homes may not necessarily be in Brazos County. So let's go ahead and check, what was that? Tuscarawas County, Ohio. Man, you live in that part of Ohio. I don't know if you like Dave Chappelle. So Dave Chappelle moved out to Yellow Springs, Ohio, which has a retardedly left-wing campus there. Fucking Antioch is. You want to talk about one of the dumbest colleges I have ever seen? I don't know who in their right fucking mind would ever pay to go there, but there's some really good food in Antioch, in Yellow Springs. I will say I like Yellow Springs, but Antioch College is fucking stupid. Um, but even Green County, 60% in favor of Trump, and it's about the same as it was in 2020. So let's take a look at Tuscarawas County. You said that is east of Columbus, I believe. Yep, Tuscarawas County, 71% in favor of the Donald, 30,000 votes, 11,905 in favor of Kamala, and a mere 179 base libertarians voting for Chase Oliver. I can respect that. If you're you have to have a certain amount of nuts to live in a swing state and still vote third party. Um, let's see here. Shift from 2020, Tuscarawas County, 3 points more Republican than in 2020, so it moved to the right. Looks like a lot of Ohio did the same. Let's take a look at the Bluegrass State for our friend Mr. Big Red Fro. My question to the Kentucky brethren, are you so greedy for cheap gas and low food costs? Low food costs, yes. Cheap gas, no. That you would vote for the man who hitched his wagon with Musk. The dumbest thing about that is that Trump's policies are not going to help Tesla, which you would think for Elon anyway, he'd be kind of over that, but that's neither here nor there. So looking at Kentucky, we've got Fayette County is blue and Jefferson County is blue. That's Lexington and Louisville. Lexington being home to UK, Louisville being the biggest city. Not shocking there. What is interesting is how much Kenton and Campbell County Trump is carrying. He is carrying those by 61 and 59% respectively, so those are solidly his, and they have shifted to the right. Those are the suburbs of Cincinnati. What it seems to me is that Trump is winning more in the suburbs than he was in um, 2020. And that makes sense to a large degree. A lot of the suburban voters are going to care about things like food costs, which have gone very high. Now, I will grant credit mostly to Jerome Powell here for bringing down inflation, but people's minds are sticky when it comes to prices. They know what a dozen eggs cost in 2019, and they know what one costs now, and that number has gone up a lot. You can argue about that all you want, but this is what people vote over. I will say cheap gas is fucking stupid. Anybody who endorses higher gas taxes, Kamala was not one of these people, is a friend of mine. I am a huge fan of increasing fuel taxes. In fact, I think we should have at least $8 to $9 gas in this country. That is only my second spiciest hot take. My first, of course, being that the Interstate Highways Act of 1956 and its consequences have been a disaster for American society. Fucking fight me. I will die on that hill. Mercer County, Kentucky. To see Mercer County. God, the counties in the eastern states are all so fucking small. Actually, South Carolina's aren't. South Carolina's counties are much more reasonably sized. Fucking Georgia. Oh my God. The amount of counties Georgia has, they're so fucking tiny. It's annoying as shit. I love, by the way, Kentucky, that you have Bourbon County, and Bourbon County was, I believe it is, still dry. Just bravo. I love everything about that. Don't change that. Somehow that's better. Oh, there we go. Woodford County, Mercer County, 75% in favor of Trump. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you weren't kidding. It's 8,800 votes for Donald and 2,800 and change for Kamala. So it's looking to me like Donald's going to wrap this one up. I could be wrong. I really do still think Pennsylvania is the key. I think if Trump wins PA, it's over. The problem is we're not going to know. Anybody who makes a definitive claim as to the election being over is wrong for the next 4 days. The reason for that is that Pennsylvania can call a recount. Pennsylvania, it is illegal in Pennsylvania to start the count of early mail-in ballots, which is a dumb law. I don't get why they do that. Why wouldn't you count it early? It's going to make life on the election workers a lot easier. Uh, you don't have to publish it. You can keep it under lock and key, but for fuck's sake, why are you making it so much harder on yourself? Pennsylvania's got like 15 million people. That's a lot of ballots. I mean, saying estimated 62%, that's 4.2 million, but God, voter turnout's fucking low in this country. That's pathetic. It's currently Trump is in the lead in Pennsylvania, but Harris is climbing. The deficit was 150,000, now it's about 120,000. Let's take a look at Pennsylvania. I'm convinced Pennsylvania will be the key. Got 86 from Allegheny County, so not much more for Harris to tap from Pittsburgh. We've got nothing from Cameron County. That's going to be all Trump. That's in the T. Cambria County is about even. That's Johnstown. 21 votes. That's not going to swing it very much either way. Um, Erie County is still low, so that's about 32% of votes. In other words, Kamala could expect to gain another 10 to 20,000 there. We've got Dauphin County, that's Harrisburg, and Harris will perform well in Harrisburg. That's only about halfway through, so that's probably another 20 to 30,000 there. So you're talking a lead for Trump of about 80K. York County is looking about split, so it's not going to make much of a difference. Lehigh County, Harris is a small lead, and it's about halfway through, so that might be another 5,000 for her there. That's, you're talking a margin maybe 70,000 now. Monroe County, Lackawanna County is done. So Monroe County is going to give Harris maybe another couple of thousand, talk 65,000. Then it's really going to come down to how much Philadelphia gets out. Montgomery County is 2-1 in favor of Harris, and only half the votes have come in. So that could be an additional 80,000 votes in Harris's favor. So if Montgomery County, Bucks County is still not reported in. Philadelphia County has not. Yeah, Philadelphia County is about 2/3 of the way through. So it's interesting. The Philly suburbs are behind Philadelphia itself. Delaware County is going to be in favor. Okay, so it's going to come down to Pennsylvania. I really do think it's going to come down to Pennsylvania. It's going to be interesting. I think Philadelphia, it's going to be up to the Philadelphia suburbs to get the votes counted. And if the Philadelphia suburbs continue to be as blue as they're currently presenting, Harris may win. Harris may win PA, and if Harris wins PA, again, I think whoever wins PA is going to win the election. So the Trump team is already calling that Philly is cheating. No, how how can you even make that claim yet? The polls have only closed like a couple of hours ago. I saw Trump made that claim like 6 hours ago. Bro, shut the fuck up. Like fine, if you wanna start, I demand a recount. Okay, but like can we at least get through the polling first? Uh I don't mind $7 gas when money goes to the freaking road, not administration. No, the $7 gas needs to go towards alternatives to driving. Needs to go towards fucking bike paths, okay? Hear me out on this. For every dollar you spend on a car, infrastructure, parking garages, parking lots, highways, you can get 100 times that value, right? And that's about how we spent. It's about 100 to 1. Pennies on the dollar, right? You take that dollar in favor of bike infrastructure, first off, you're combating the obesity crisis. And with electric bikes, even that, if you're fucking really tubby and you need all the help, you can still do that. E-bikes allow you so much range. It allows you so much freedom. You don't have to fucking register it, right? People, I love all these freedom loving. Why? Tell me fucking why cycling had to become associated with the most insufferable Portland, Oregon soy boy leftist hipsters. Bothers the shit out of me. Cycling is the most libertarian fucking small government way to do things because the only infrastructure you need for a bicycle is one 10-foot strip of asphalt. And even then, as long as it's a decently, tamped down dirt road, you don't even need that. As long as get yourself a decent set of tires. But like, think about how cheap that is to build compared to another lane, bro, or another parking lot, bro, because downtown doesn't have enough parking, bro. It's fucking dumb. Just use a goddamn bicycle. Get off your lazy ass and start pedaling. You do that, bro. Like, this shit did not just happen on its own. These fucking glorious hockey leg thighs, and right, all these abs. Why am I able to eat as much as I do? I can eat 4,000 calories a day and still fucking have this. Why? It's because I fucking bike everywhere. And this state, let's talk. I'm sorry, I'm gonna rant for a moment here. This goddamn state spent $8 billion on a rail that still doesn't reach Honolulu and won't until 2031, instead of just building bike paths in the world's best climate. I mean, for God's sake, I don't like the weather excuse because it's bullshit. One of the most cycling friendly cities in the country is Minneapolis, of all places. And credit to the Minneapolitans for actually investing in their bike infrastructure. But there is no excuse in this fucking place where gas is expensive, even though it's super subsidized, traffic is horrendous, and the weather is literally perfect all year round for fucking ever. Why is cycling not a bigger thing here? Like, for fuck's sake. It's not just the correct answer, it is the blindingly obvious correct answer. Okay. Anyway, I still am a huge fan of fuel taxes because we artificially subsidize things like suburbia. We artificially subsidize the building of car-dependent infrastructure, and we induce our own demand. And it's a terrible way to run things more than any other reason, too, for foreign policy reasons. And hear me out. If we cut our consumption by about 10 to 15%, bring it back down to 1998 levels, the amount of oil production we have started doing over the Biden years, yes, we have produced more oil under Biden than any other president, by the way. Crazy fucking fact. Every president drill baby drills. Okay, rhetoric aside, Biden has been just fine to the oil and gas industry. Most of the rhetoric is empty on that one. If we were able to cut our consumption, we could immediately flood the world markets with US oil the same way that effectively the COVID pandemic did. Why would that matter? Well, it would drop the price of oil dramatically overnight to the extent, okay, to the extent that the Russian regime and the Saudi regime would be begging and pleading, not to mention Venezuela, would be begging and pleading with us they would be sucking our fucking dicks, okay? They would be kissing the red, white, and blue star spangled boot. The only way to do that, though, is with fuel taxes, because if you just leave it to the free market, right, all that oil production is going to drop prices down to the point where, oh, gas is cheap. I'm going to go buy me another big old truck, and then I'm going to use all that fuel because it's going to get 8 miles a gallon. Now, you need fuel taxes, okay? You want fuel taxes are the ultimate thing. It is a way to source government revenue responsibly, is a way to decrease negative externalities that come from pollution. I'm not even ignore global warming for a second, okay? I'm talking the certifiably higher cancer rates in places where oil and gas is drilled and then refined. Go look at cancer rates in Louisiana and southeastern Texas. It's high there for a reason, okay? All of the water table poisoning that happens whenever, say, a gas station doesn't do proper maintenance on their gas tanks underground, and you better believe that happens, right? And then you've got all the other factors, right? Air pollution, cars still pollute the air. Ignoring greenhouse gases, it's still not good for your lungs to be breathing that shit in. There's a reason Los Angeles had smog more or less from the 50s onward. That was because of the car. Not to mention, more car usage is more tire dust that goes into our water stream, more brake dust that goes into our water stream. Those are carcinogenic chemicals, okay? That we're all giving ourselves cancer by doing that, all right? Cars are fucking awful for us. They're very useful. They have their purpose. But the idea that we should be dependent on the car exclusively is the biggest fucking mistake we ever made. And I blame Eisenhower, one of the most overrated presidents, for that. He got the idea from the Nazis, and it was a bad fucking idea. Yeah, I am ranting. Okay, we're done. We're done my anti-car rant, and I'm not even all that much for trains anymore because the amount of government, like the California high-speed rail and the rail project here in Oahu, has been so bad that I don't trust the government to do that properly anymore. Bus lines are okay; they're still better than cars. The problem is buses get stuck in the same traffic cars do. You have to have a high fuel tax, and then, frankly, I'm a huge fan of high fuel taxes completely subsidize and make buses free. Make buses free. Absolutely. That's decent policy, right? That's going to increase ridership levels, and the more people you get out of cars, the less traffic there is, which means yes, you'd pay more at the pump, but you'd spend way less time in traffic and therefore use less gas, which means you'd spend about the same amount of money and you'd be a lot less pissed off in the process, right? And then take all that extra money from the fuel taxes, bike pass, and more bike pass. Make everything about the fucking bicycle. Get bikes to be mainstream, and the amount of cars you take off the road, drivers will love it. They will. They will squeal, kicking and screaming going into it, and then they'll realize, oh, where's all the car traffic? Oh, everybody's on their bikes now, and bikes take up a fraction of the space that cars do. So the people who actually need to drive, y'all should be the most in favor of cycling. And it just, why do the cyclists all have to be the insufferable liberal douchebags? Why does cycling have to be associated with fucking dipshit leftist policy? It would drive OPEC bonkers. You imagine what a kick to the nuts the Saudis would have gotten? Well, the Saudis can pump oil at really low prices, so the Saudis would be fine. But Iran would be begging and pleading for us to stop. Iran would not be fucking with Israel right now. If we cut oil consumption and exported the excess, the Russians would be coming to the peace deal immediately over Ukraine because they'd run out of money. The Venezuelans, well, I mean, Venezuela's beyond, they're beyond all hope at this point. Speaking of other countries I'd like to see us, it looks like Maine District 1 has been called in favor of Harris. That's Portland, that's to be expected. But other countries that I think we should ally with immediately, and I'm hoping if Trump is elected, he will. I would love to see a much stronger partnership between the U.S. and Argentina because I really like Javier Milei and I want him to succeed very badly. See, that's it. I love my diesels. I want to emit and consume like a good red-blooded American and drive my soy by lighting. Okay. Hear me out. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay more per gallon at the pump, but would you be willing to trade higher gas prices for not sitting in traffic pretty much any more? Would you be willing to? First off, I hope you don't roll coal. If you do that, fuck you. There is no reason to roll coal. It's terrible for your engine. It's really bad on your exhaust system, and it makes you look like a douchebag. Also, if you're doing that because a Prius is behind you, you're a douchebag. If you're doing that because a cyclist or a pedestrian is behind you, you're a fucking psychopath and get help. Because that's just, you're literally like, yeah, let's turn on the cancer for you. Because diesel particulate exhaust, I mean, is carcinogenic. Like that is beyond dispute. It's soot. It's terrible for your lungs. It gives you lung cancer. So California has already been called by the New York Times with 0% of voters in. I mean, I get that this would have happened regardless, but that's just funny to me. Washington has also been called for Harris in the duh factor. We all knew that was happening. Idaho has been called for Trump again in the duh factor. Oregon will get called for Harris. New Mexico, we got 70% in, and Harris is up by 50,000. I think Harris is going to get New Mexico. Arizona, Trump's up by 3,000 votes. That's too close to call. I really do think it's going to be Pennsylvania that decides it. And again, dude, okay. Here's my cred on this diesel issue, too, by the way. Um, I used to drive a 7.3 turbo diesel. I have put a custom exhaust and chipped a 7.3 turbo diesel E-Series van. Okay? I would absolutely trade higher fuel prices for not sitting in traffic. 100% of the time. My time is worth so much more than fuel prices. And the truth is, with diesels especially, the price of fuel is only a small factor in the total cost of ownership of the vehicle. Insurance, right? Maintenance, DEF anymore these days, right? There is a lot of extra cost baked into running an internal combustion vehicle. Everybody likes to use the cost of fuel as a proxy for the cost of ownership of a vehicle, and it's such a bad idea, especially if you own a small Italian car, because no, yeah, it might get good fuel economy, but it's going to be in the shop half the time. Or God help you if you buy a Chrysler product. Sorry, a Chrysler product that isn't a Dodge Cummins. The Cummins is a great, well, even then, the Cummins is a great engine, but it's surrounded by Chrysler product. Unfortunately, that means, yeah, you might not be into the shop for a bad engine, but your electrical systems, your interior, all the other components of the truck are going to have problems. Oh, man. All right. Let's see what we got on the screen here. All right, I think it's time for me to have a little food ski. And oh, hang on. Um, got a text from my model. I still gotta book the tickets. I suppose this late at night, you're not gonna get anything from Richie anyway. All right. I still really want to book the tickets tonight. Tonight's gonna be the cheapest, especially because so the cheapest time to book airplane flights is Tuesday night. But out here, right, it's even better because Tuesday evening here is like midnight everywhere else. So yeah, hopefully Richie can make it work. Worst case, at least we can meet up and introduce each other. There we go. Cool. Yeah, trying to set stuff up for New York modeling show. So I'm going there for the New York fashion show. Unfortunately, due to workplace training, I got to be back no later than the 9th because I got work on the 10th that I can't miss. It is related to touching the boats, so got to do that. Um, as a result of that, I have to like we wanted to do more modeling stuff in New York City while I was there, but that puts a hard deadline as to how long I can stay. So I'm gonna try and put some extra days at the beginning. Let's see. Don't sit in traffic. That's true. You're out in the sticks. At least you don't have to worry about that. But no, mine aren't deleted. Bro, I fucking straight piped that 7.3. That was a bad idea. I mean, it was a absolutely freaking hilarious to drive, but straight piping a 7.3 in a van where the up pipes and the back of that engine is right at your knee because it's not 2 feet in front of you like it is in an F series. It's right fucking next to you. The noise that thing made was biblical. Hilarious to drive though, because it had super short rear gear ratios. So the fucker, I mean, again, it was basically an old retired county transit bus, Hutchinson County, Kansas. This thing had no, or it might have been Hayes County, Kansas, one of those two. It had no business being as fast as it was. Holy shit. Thing would get up and move. Take the white shorts to the modeling show. Oh yeah. Nah, I know, I will. I've got plans for that. It's gonna be New York in February, so I'm gonna be freezing my balls off, but that'll be a good time. It'll make me appreciate living here. I'll put it that way. Definitely make me. This is the one area that in San Diego maybe that's more expensive than living here. I will probably be drinking so much milk there because I assume even in New York City milk's cheaper than it is here. I fucking hope so. If milk in New York City is $8 a gallon, something is wrong. Venezuela needs Jesus at this point. That's the only thing. They've fallen prey to socialist brain rot for too many decades. What they need is really what they need is Javier Malay on steroids, and they're not going to get it. The Venezuela's fucked. No, good for you then. Please continue to not roll coal and be a responsible diesel owner. I love a diesel engine is more efficient than a gas engine. There's a lot to love about that low end torque and that clack 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 sound. But anybody who rolls coal, and again, this is just I have been on a bicycle and I've gotten coal rolled on me before. It's just fucking unpleasant. I really don't like that. Because I'm also right. If you're on a bike, you're breathing heavier, you're breathing deeper, so you're gonna get all that crap deeper into your lungs. Oh yeah, no, I mean, there's ways to combat that though. You just wear a pair of long johns or something. Yeah, I will say I have not experienced a temperature below about 75 in 6 months, so I'm definitely in for a surprise whenever I do make my way back to the mainland. It's looking like that New York trip in February will be the first time I leave here to return. I think I'm going to spend Christmas here. It's looking that way. I don't really have anything planned. I might, if I'm staying here, I'm going to try and bike the entire circumference periphery of Oahu. I think I can do it. It's about 135 miles, and to do it in one day would be hard. I think it's possible. I think it would also be a blast. Um, I would say, Nate, if you really want a good time, get yourself a little electric bike. So Yamaha is no longer selling theirs in the United States. You can get them for like 60% off right now. It's like a 2.5 grand e-bike for 1 grand. They're good quality. The parts are really good, and it's Yamaha. So yeah, they won't sell them here, but you can get parts easy from other countries. They are a hoot and a fucking holler to go around. You can even get an electric mountain bike and you're part of Ohio. I'm sure you can find mountain biking trails because it's kind of those rolling hills on one end of the Appalachians, the same way that my the Piedmont was sort of South North Carolina. They're probably good mountain biking trails around there. You'll have a blast. Amish friends have incredible electric bikes. One is 16 grand and what 46? Jesus Christ. Bro, no, I'm talking about one that you have to pedal on. I mean, if you manage, I've gone 45 downhill, like going bombing down a crater here, but I've never 47, man. Hats off to you. Speaking of, uh, speaking of you living there in the Buckeye State, congrats to the Ohio State Buckeyes for knocking off Penn State yet again. The less said about A&M. A&M got demolished by the Gamecocks. They came out and just absolutely took it to them. The Cox just beat them down. Every South Carolina fan I know is inserting their own jokes here, as they should. But yeah, you have to pedal. Okay, okay, it's got pedal assist because there are some electric. They're called e-bikes, but they're really just electric mopeds where there's not even pedals anymore. And it's like, bro, come on. The whole point of an e-bike is that you should at least be able to, if you choose to, get some fitness benefits out of this. Again, this country's fat as fuck. Let's go ahead and, make e-bikes. E-bikes are a great way to help that. Let me go ahead and, oh, modeling director just texted back. Can't stay because I have work training that I can't miss. There we go. Beyond the ninth. There we go. Cool. All right, so any other updates? See, it's looking like Georgia, looking like the Peach State is going to go for Trump this time around. Trump has extended his lead to almost 150K with 93% of voters in. That's going to look pretty insurmountable. Looks like Kamala's going to get Virginia. North Carolina is looking like it's going to go for Trumpski too. Wisconsin and Michigan still too close to call. Minnesota still too not enough votes in, only 13%. I think Trump's going to do it, and it's looking like Trump's going to capture PA. That's going to be the one. It's going to be. I'm telling you, it's going to be Pennsylvania. When the Keystone State decides, that's the new bellwether, I think. All right, I am going to go eat pretty soon. It's been a pretty good stream, and it's getting fairly late here. So what I'm going to do now is hop off of YouTube, and I will head to my Discord channel. If y'all want more bull, actually, we're going to go ahead and take y'all back over here as a little farewell. Show you guys it's looking good. Yeah, we got ourselves a curry. Gonna be fire. If y'all want more bull, you can type in !Discord into the camera or into the Twitch chat, or you can look on my page, or you can go to my link tree. If you want more bull muscle, I'm telling you, you can get it. You got to come on the Discord. You got to meet me on my terms, okay? I don't have a TikTok. I really can't as a function of my job. I do have an Instagram. If you guys want that, you go to my link tree. I think it's right there. I don't really post a lot on it. It's going to be more for modeling related stuff. So if you want to see more modeling related stuff, you might find it there. I will be in New York City, February 2025. So if you're a resident of the biggest city in the US, you may have an opportunity to hang out with Mr. Bull. Otherwise, trying to think, yeah, otherwise, if you want to spend more time with me tonight, I'm going to have some food and then I'm going to be in the Discord. So that is going to be it for me for this video. As always, y'all, make good decisions. Actually, before we go there with my normal exit spiel, not only should y'all make the good decisions and all that, but remember that win, lose, or draw, no matter what happens this election, we live in the greatest country on earth, okay? God bless America. We are going to get through no matter what happens. Everything's going to be all right. Focus on what you can control. Don't worry too much about what you can't, and everything's going to work out, okay? As always, make good decisions. Those good decisions form your actions. Those actions form your habits. Those habits form your values. Those values form an ethos to be the guide star through the rough waters of life. Much love, y'all. Come in for the big bull hug. And then, actually, I believe if my boy Red is on, I'm going to see if I can't leave y'all with him. I got to figure out how to do that, but give me a moment. think there's a way. No. See, I know there's a way to do this, but I just don't know how. See, if you go to the manage videos, is that it? There's live. Yeah, I think this is it. Hang on. Live. We go. Edit. Advanced settings in studio. Let's see. No, this is not altered content. Can edit thumbnail at least. Yeah, let's see, is there any way to do? I'm trying to figure out how to like it's basically a raid feature, and I just don't know how to do it on mobile. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Okay, well, for those of you who are here, go visit Red5478. He's doing college football playoff stream. I really love his content. Can't recommend it enough. He did a fire video on Notre Dame, and if you want to see me on there, actually, he asked me for my take on the Texas A&M South Carolina game and the state of Aggie football. So strongly recommend that. I will go ahead and link to his. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to link to his stuff. Give me one moment. Here we go. Home. I'm going to do that. That's me. I want to do it. That matters to me. It's about being a good friend. Red 5478. Is he still alive? He should be. Oh, nope, he's off the air. All right, well then in that case, y'all, uh, come in for the hug. I will see y'all if I don't do another consultation. Oh, by the way, consultations, if you want one, askbullmuscle@gmail.com. Let me know. I can help you out, right? Again, how many nuclear engineer fitness models how many nuclear engineer runway models who are financially independent do you know? I might be able to help you out with a life situation. Askbullmuscle@gmail.com. That is going to be it for me. Shoots. See y'all.